Another day of muted trade on the street with the benchmark in the negative territory below 25,800 mark. Broader indices underperform as most sectors like real estate, metals and financials remain the top drags.
Q3 earnings for Nifty 100 stayed resilient with revenue up 9% year-on-year and EBITDA rising 14%. Consumer services, defense and durables led revenue growth while oil and gas topped EBITDA gains. Profits surged in auto and defense but weakened sharply in FMCG, realty and power. Labor cost impact stood at 15,000 crore, denting PAT by nearly 5%.
NCC under pressure after NHAI bars the company from bidding for 2 years over delay in a few projects in Uttar Pradesh. NCC says that the move is unfair and plans to challenge the order. Impact on future tenders is expected to be limited.
The government is set to grant major relief to mega power projects with full custom and excise duty exemption on equipment. Benefits will apply to projects with long-term tie-ups of at least 85% capacity. Likely beneficiaries include Adani Power, Sembhog Gayatri, DB Power, Gujarat Urja Vikas Nigam.
Sources say the Tata Sons will meet on 24th of February to consider a third term for Chairman N. Chandrasekharan. The board will also review group performance. Tata Trust, which holds a majority stake, has already cleared his extension.
Hello and welcome. Good morning. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now. I'm Kavita Thapliyal. With me is Ankita Saxena. And next 1 hour will be all about your stock-specific buys. All you have to do is just send across your questions on the WhatsApp number that is flashing right now. 865-797-4571. That's the number. Send us the name of the stock, the price at which you bought it, and you want a fundamental or a technical advice. We will get it done by our experts live on the show. So let's begin and let's quickly do a check of the market trajectory right now. It's a muted trade. We can see the Nifty hovering around 25,730 levels, 0.25% cut on Nifty, Sensex as well as Bank Nifty. Right now 200 points down. The market breadth looks really weak in the sense it's heavier on the decline side, 1643 on the NSE in terms of declines, and advances are almost 1143 on the NSE. But then it's a mixed market breadth, and the market is slightly on the negative bias, as most sectoral indices trade in the red, especially look at banking, financials, metals, FMCG, reality are definitely weighing on the sentiment, while selective strength is there in IT, pharma, healthcare, and mid-cap segments are kind of trying to lend some support. Overall, tone remains cautious with rotational stock-specific participation. And also, if we look at some specific trades in the market today, the broader market is also moving in tandem with the large caps, but so far we can look at a few stocks like Intellect Design Arena up almost 5% after launching EMAC, that is AI first banking at India AI Impact Summit. Few gainers on the Nifty side that we can look at right now. Infosys almost 1.5% up, ONG 1.5%, TCS, Hindalco, HDFC, HCL Tech almost half to 1.5% up. On the loser side, we have Trent almost 2% down, Interglobe, Adani Enterprises, M&M, JSW Steel, BEL. Again, almost 1.5 to 1% cuts we can see so far. So, Ankita, it's a muted trade on the market. Definitely, after 3 good sessions in the market, this is the time where we can see market taking a strong breather. But yes, holding on to 25,700 or 25,720 is still a very important zone for the markets.
Yes, Kavita, that's right. But right now, as it is a muted day coming in. But nonetheless, it's a decent day because the market breadth seems to be decent in that sense. But let's move on and get on board to Sneha Poddar, the VP Research Wealth Management at Motilal Oswal Financial Services, and Kunal, who's joining us. Hi, good morning to both of you, and thank you so much for joining us to answer all our stock-specific questions. Let's get going with all the questions that you have been writing to us with. The first question that's coming in is from Swati, who's a long-term investor. She says she wants your advice on 2 stocks that can be bought: Trent, PFC, and Tata Passenger Vehicle. She says she's a long-term investor, so she wants your advice on any of these 2: Trent, PFC, or Tata Passenger Vehicle. Let me come to you, Sneha. What would be your picks and why?
Okay, so among these three, I would pick up Tata Motors passenger vehicles and probably PFC. I would like to avoid a trend because there is a lot of high competitive intensity in that sector, and the footfalls has not really picked up as was expected. So a trend would be avoidable from my side. With regards to Tata Motors passenger vehicles, the numbers have started improving. The like you know the overall both on the domestic front as well as the global markets, be it Europe or US, the numbers have started showing an uptick, which is a big positive for the stock. Moreover, the trade deals that has been concluded, that provides a leg up to the stock, because Tata Motors has got high exposure to both the Europe and the US market. So these trade deals will definitely help to boost the overall volumes. And in case of PFC, the announcement with regards to the merger of PFC and REC, that will provide a big boost to the balance sheet of PFC, and they would be able to now lend more. It will provide a lot of strength to the lending company. And in general, given the high focus of the government on the power sector, given the high demand which is anticipated from the the upcoming sectors like EV, data center, semiconductor, and all. So the demand is definitely going to boost from here, and thus the power financing companies is likely to benefit. So these two companies can be chosen among the three that were mentioned.
All right, so that's Sneha's pick. It is Tata Motor passenger vehicle and PFC. But Kunal, let me come to you. What would be your picks out of these three and why?
See, I would believe price-wise, Trent and Tata Motors PV, I think both of them are extremely attractive at current levels. I would sense that both of these stocks have gone through a decent-sized correction in the last I think 6 or 7 quarters of sorts. And I think at current levels, I would believe that the price, the risk reward is extremely lucrative, attractive. These stocks are still trading below their long-term moving averages. That makes the timing of these stocks a little bit more better, specifically from a long-term play. PFC I would avoid at current levels because of the kind of news flow surrounding the stock price with respect to REC. So maybe I think that stock could see some bit of bounce back, but then eventually I think we've seen many of these stocks trading a lot more sideways and being a little bit more volatile in the near to medium term. So avoid PFC as of now. Maybe I think there could be better opportunities which could emerge into the price points for PFC somewhere down the line the next 3 months or so. But I think Tata Motors PV as well as Trend could be better bets.
All right, so avoid PFC. That's the word coming in from Kunal as well. But then let's move on. We have a live viewer also connected on the phone line. Vinay, hi. Morning. You're calling from?
I'm calling from Pune.
Pune. All right, Vinay, you can ask your question. Our experts can hear you.
Yeah. Yeah, I have got L&T at 3224, 1,000 shares, and I'm a long-term investor. It has recently hit all-time high. So I want to know what is the target for the next 2-3 years. Second question is, I want to invest around 20 lakhs in AI, semiconductor, data center, and defense stocks. So
Okay.
can you recommend any stocks in this category?
Sure. Vinay, just to confirm, you have something in Anant Raj as well?
No, I don't have.
All right, so you're a long-term investor. All right, thank you for asking your question, and let's get a fundamental take because it's long-term. Sneha, I'll come to you. Okay, so L&T, what's the timeline that you are looking for 2 to 3 years? As in, definitely it's a good pick if that's a time horizon. And apart from that, an investment of 20 lakhs. So he needs stock-specific recommendation on that, and also help as to how can he deploy this money, because in one go might not be the right strategy. So maybe in a deferred or a staggered way, if you might want to recommend. Sneha.
Okay. So, with regards to L&T, recently there are a lot of news flows which has been surrounding the stock. I mean, the latest one has been its tie with NVIDIA for setting up the AI factory, and also it is one of the consort. I mean, L&T along with its consortium has been selected for the next for the fifth generation helicopters. So. I mean, if we look at its core business, the core EPC business is doing really well. The capex has picked up in India and also the international markets, which is largely the Middle East for Larsen. So both the markets, the capex is doing extremely fine. So the order book is extremely robust, and thus the visibility from the revenue perspective is quite good. Now, with regards to the other new avenues which L&T has diversified into, be it defense, be it data center, be it renewables, power, etc. So in those sectors also, there's a lot of traction which the company is getting. And anyways, the government is focusing a lot on these new age sectors where L&T is very rightly placed. So from long term perspective, we are very bullish on L&T because all its segments are doing extremely well, and given its dominant position, it is very well placed to tap the opportunities that will emerge over the next 4 to 5 years. Now, with regards to the target price which he has, though we cannot project the target price for say next 3 to 4 years, but from 1 year perspective, we have a target price of 4,800, and eventually, this gets rolled forward as and when the earnings trajectory improves. So, my suggestion to him would be to hold on to this stock and till the numbers continue, the company continues to deliver the robust financials, the stock price will automatically be inched up higher year after year. Now, with regards to the other 20 lakhs deployment which he wants to do in the new age sectors, though we do not have any direct beneficiary of data center, semiconductor in terms of listed companies, but then there are a lot of ancillary companies which could benefit out of this. And for in case of data centers and semiconductors, what we believe is that the power ancillary companies, for example, the capgood companies like the Siemens Energy, Hitachi Energy, or cable and wire companies like Polycab, KEI, those are the ones which can benefit from these new age sectors. Also, L&T would be one of the big beneficiary of the data center investment. So he can pick and choose, probably he can pick one cable and wires company, one cap goods company. Anant Raj, I would say better to avoid because there are much more larger players who are ready to invest in data center infrastructure. So there will be a lot of heated competition. But these ancillary companies can be looked at. Also, Blue Star can be looked at because a lot of big cooling ACs will be required for the data center. So among these four stocks, L&T, Blue Star, Polycab, and probably Siemens Energy, he can deploy 5 lakh each, and that he can do in 2 stages and not all in one go, because market is in no hurry to at least the broader market is in no hurry to scale new highs. So he can probably split it into 2 halves and do it.
All right. Thank you so much for that detailed advice, Sneha. But with that, it's time for a quick breather. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll come back and get your questions answered. In the meantime, keep sending in your questions.
Hi there, welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, and we are answering your stock-specific questions. We are joined by Sneha Poddar and Kunal Pochwa, experts on the show today. And we also have our viewer, Mr. Ignatius from Kolkata. Hi, morning. How are you doing today, sir?
Good. Good morning.
Thank you so much for finally talking to you over the phone call, because you're a regular viewer of the show, and thank you so much for regularly asking your questions. Our experts can hear you. Ask away.
Yeah. Okay, first I want to thank Kunal for his lovely tip yesterday. He gave me NetWeb Technologies, so I made some money on there. Thanks a lot. I bought it at 3457. Just give me the target rate. So what will be the target rate for NetWeb Technologies?
See, I think if you're looking at this as a one-day trade, then I think at current levels of 35.50, it's a good time where you can look to book profits, because in this kind of a market, 2 days of gain generally is unsustainable and the stock might go into a correction.
Okay, thanks a lot. And one more question is it a good time to buy Infosys? I mean, IT was a little negative today, it's up, but is it a good time to invest in Infosys?
Is it a long-term buy?
Yeah, in long term. I can keep it for 2 years.
Okay. Sneha, I'll come to you for that.
Okay, basically, with regards to Infosys, definitely post the healthy correction that we've seen across the IT companies, the valuation is very lucrative, and the kind of tie-ups that the IT companies are doing with the AI global AI partners, that really speaks about how they are trying to transform their business. So definitely, as we all know, AI is going to disrupt the IT industry, but then the IT industry per se will not be completely done away with. In fact, they will be required to kind of bridge the gap between the AI offerings as well as the corporates who require those projects. So it's just that the IT companies need to now adopt to this new business model, and they need to kind of mold their business accordingly. So, and if we look at the history, whenever the disruptions have happened, the IT companies have been able to do that beautifully. Obviously, it will not happen overnight. It takes time. So this is the transformation stage, and if you're looking from the long-term perspective, this is actually a very good time to invest in such companies. And Infosys is best placed among all the IT companies in terms of readiness towards adoption of this business model. So definitely, so you can look into investing into Infosys from the long-term point of view. Currently, we are looking at a target price of 2,200 in this counter.
2,200 is the long-term target. Do you want any take from Kunal as well, Mr. Ignatius?
Yeah. I just thanks a lot. That was very informative. I'll invest in Infosys. Another thing is I've invested in Trent, but at little higher levels. So a little bit on a loss right now. I'm not very worried, but is a good time to average, because I bought it around 5,200. Like that sort of thing. So it's a little bit high.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So a little bit of loss, but I'm not worried. I'm not no problem. But can I average? I can average.
Sure.
I got around 17 stocks. So should I buy more? Is it sensible?
Okay. Kunal?
Yeah, I think you can look to add more, but I would sense that maybe sub 4,000, say 3950, 3900 could be a better zone to try and average trend, because this could probably indicate that the stock has come back towards a pivot point, for itself. So it's been swinging around 300 points broadly, from 3,700 as a low, 4,200 as a broad high for the stock in the near to medium term. So I think probably sense that 3950, 3900 is a good zone if you're looking to average out. And after a 60% plus kind of a correction for trend from, I think, 8,700 or 800 as the high for the stock on a lifetime basis, from those kind of levels, what you're seeing is that the stock has come back towards a very attractive price territory. Purely, I think I'm assuming that you're a long-term investor in that sense. So I would suggest a buy, but maybe slightly lower levels than what the stock is throwing right now.
All right, Mr. Ignatius, I hope all your questions are answered, and thank you so much for watching and joining us today. Let's move on to the next question. That's also coming specifically for Kunal. Kunal, this is Venkatesh, who's writing from Indonesia. He says he wants to know about Clean Science that he's bought at a buying price of at 840 rupees, and Crompton Consumers that he's bought at 280 rupees. He wants to know if he can add further at the current levels for the next 2 years. But is it the right time to get into these counters again?
So I would suggest to just wait for some more time, because Clean Science, for example, has been a disappointing chart. I think over the last 3 or 4 years, consistently making a pattern of lower highs and lower lows. In fact, even in the last 4 or 5 months or so, the stock has seen a very sharp sell-off. I think it's sold off from 1,000, 1,200 levels to almost 750, where it's trading right now. So it doesn't look like that the stock would come back into any kind of a short-term reprieve or any kind of a major pullback as such. So I would suggest to just wait for some more time, let the stock exhibit and show that it's trying to form a bottom, whether it's in terms of volumes or price levels, where you see a bounce back of sorts. Crompton, on the other hand, yes, the price-wise trend looks a little attractive for the stock at current juncture. But then, on the weekly charts, as I was spotting the near-term price trend, after 2 or 3 consecutive weeks of price uptrend, it's hit a minor overbought nature on the indicators at current levels of 269, 270, where it's trading right now. There could be a chance that maybe the stock can drop down another 10, 15 points before it tries to come back again on a multi-week basis. So it's a good price overall basis for Crompton to invest into. But if you're looking at a precise level, I would suggest maybe 10, 15 points lower from current levels could be a better zone.
All right, so that's the take coming in from Kunal. But then with that, it's time for a short break. But before we slip into the break, Sneha, thank you so much for joining in today and giving your time for our viewers' stock-specific queries. And Kunal is still our expert on the show who will be navigating all your stock-specific queries. Just in case you haven't yet, note down our WhatsApp number and we'll see you right after the break.
At the India AI Summit, PM Modi said that India is not just a part of the AI revolution, but leading it. He unveiled the Manav vision, stressing ethical governance, inclusion, and sovereignty, called for open and democratic AI, warned against the deepfakes and misuse. He also urged mass skilling to ensure AI empowers humanity, not replaces it.
Macron praised India's digital public infrastructure, noting it powers over 20 billion transactions monthly. He said AI will be a key enabler for humanity, highlighted India's sovereign push for small language models, and stressed mutual respect will drive future progress.
CEO of Anthropic Dario Amodai announced the opening of a Bengaluru office and the appointment of a managing director for India. He also confirmed new partnerships with major Indian enterprises, including Infosys, signaling deeper commitment to the Indian market.
Sundar Pichai said India's AI progress shows that big dreams deliver real results. He announced a full-stack AI hub in Visakhapatnam as part of a $15 billion investment, including large-scale compute and a new subsea cable gateway.
At the AI Summit, N. Chandrasekaran said India is building AI as a strategic national capability. He highlighted alignment from chips to energy and applications backed by policy reforms to ensure trust, resilience, and long-term competitiveness.
Hi, welcome back. You're watching Buy Now, Sell Now, and it's the time where we are answering your stock-specific questions. And before we move on, the WhatsApp number you can see on the screen, 86579745771. You can keep sending your questions, and we will get it answered live on the show by our experts. And along with Kunal Bojra, we're also joined by Sonam Srivastava as an expert who will be answering your questions live. Sonam, hi, and welcome to the show. We have this WhatsApp question coming in from Mr. Shankar from Chennai, and he says that he's got Kalyan Jewellers purchased at the cost of 471. 270 is the quantity, and he's not given any time frame. So let's assume it's a short-term buy. Kunal, I'll come to you. What would be your recommendation? Cost is 471.
See, I think then of course you'll have to just hold on to your investments over here. But Kalyan Jewellers is something which is still going into a major downward pressure trend. I think the recent past, also in the last 1 month, the entire month of January, the stock had seen a huge selling from 520, 540 levels to as much as 360 mark. And this is a substantial correction for the stock price. You're bound to see some bit of a bounce back into the stock and then a continuation on the downside. I think we've seen that bounce back for Kalyan Jewellers, where from 360 levels the stock bounced back towards 440 mark. I would believe that the stock may go into one more round of a correction over the near term. However, I think if in case the stock breaks past about this 450 mark, then there could be a scope of a recovery for Kalyan Jewellers in the near to medium term.
All right, so that's the view coming in on Kalyan Jewellers on the charts. But Kunal, this is another question that's coming in from you. Imtiaz is writing from Kolkata. He says he's a big fan of Kunal, and he says he wants your view on Newgen. He's bought at the price of 1,300 rupees, and he's sitting at a very huge loss. He says that he also wants to buy ITC. What are the best levels to enter? Alongside, he also wants your view for entry on Office Space and Birla Soft. Kunal, so quite a few questions there. Firstly, for Newgen, what should he do?
See, I think for Newgen, I think after the last 2 or 3 days of price recovery, it indicates that maybe the stock is nearing a strong demand zone. 500 or sub 500 was the low for Newgen. The stock has moved up to the 600 mark. Maybe I would suggest that wait for maybe one more round of correction, because ideally in best case scenarios we've seen that when stocks bounce back, there is an eventual retest which happens of the previous lows or just closer to the previous lows. 460 was the previous low for Newgen. I would suggest just wait for 500ish kind of a point where the second round of selling happens, and in case if that happens, that could be a better price point if you're looking to average further for the stock price. The second stock which you mentioned was ITC. Again, I think for ITC, after the 20-25% cut from 410 levels to as much as 300, it looks like that maybe the worst could be out for the stock price trend. But the only catch over here is that price-wise, they may look very attractive. Time-wise, I would believe that the stocks consolidate for at least 1 or 2 quarters. So you'll have to bear the opportunity cost of investing into these names. I'm sure you would probably have fathomed that. And if you're okay with it, then I think maybe investing into ITC at levels around 315 to 320 could be a better bet for the stock. And the last one which you mentioned, I don't cover Office Space, but I think Birla Soft is what you mentioned. On the short to medium term charts, the stock has come back towards an attractive price point of 380, but I would not suggest to invest, because I think if you're looking to invest into some IT names, there are far better stocks which you can consider. Maybe go back to the traditional large cap IT stocks like Infosys, etc.
All right, let's move on. And we also have a live viewer connected on the phone line. This is Mr. Ashok Katia from Chandigarh. Hi, Mr. Katia. Welcome to the show. You can ask your question.
Hi, Kunal. I'm really fan of your. Kunal, I have 200 Netco Pharma at the rate of 1400 and 120 Electra at the rate of 1753. I'm holding this stock from the last 18 months. Please suggest me whether I should get out from this or hold it, as I'm long term.
Sure. Okay, it's a long-term buy, Kunal.
So I would suggest to hold both of these names. Natco Pharma, I think specifically after the last 3, 4, 5 days of a price uptrend, this is the first time we've seen the stock showing a major jump in volumes. Of course, the news flow was also attached to the stock price, but it tells you that somehow this 800 levels thereabouts plus minus 4-5% for Natco Pharma should act as a major support. Now you go back to the last, I think, 1 year, and there have been multiple attempts, I think 3 or 4 attempts where the stock came closer to 750 to 800 zone, and these supports have been acting as a very strong support point for Natco Pharma, where demand has been a lot more stronger. So I would sense that this is a good territory the stock has managed to enter into. You can consider maybe averaging out Natco Pharma at those levels. Olitra Green Tech, I would suggest just hold on, because the stock had a fantastic uptrend earlier. Looks attractive at current zone, but not to average.
Absolutely, Kunal. Thank you so much for that view. But quickly, there's Mukesh Ambani, who's at the AI Summit. He's speaking right now. He's addressing. Let's quickly cut into what he's saying.
Enormously. AI is the mantra that powers every yantra or every machine and system to work faster, better, and smarter. I see AI as a modern day Akshay Patra, the legendary vessel in Mahabharat that provided endless nourishment to all. Likewise, AI offers limitless augmentation in knowledge, efficiency, and productivity. We are only at the dawn of this era. The best of AI is yet to come. Distinguished participants in this summit, today the world is debating a profound question. Will AI concentrate power in the hands of a few, or will it democratize opportunity for all. Do we act as isolated nations or as a united global family? Our polarized world stands at a fork. One path has led to a situation where AI is scarce and expensive, compute is concentrated, data is controlled, and capability is locked behind barriers of capital and geography in the global north. In this dismal scenario, inequality widens between nations, within societies, and across generations. But there is another path, a future where AI is available, affordable, and beneficial to all. As our Prime Minister said, India believes in this second future. Dear friends, from the podium of this summit today, I want to make a bold prediction. India will emerge as one of the greatest AI powers in the world in the 21st century. My confidence is validated by an undeniable truth. In the coming decades, no country in the world can match India's strength in demography, democracy, development, digital infrastructure, data generation, AI harvest. Let me begin, as was said many times this morning, what India has achieved in the past 10 years. First, India is the world's largest mobile data consumer. Nearly 1 billion internet users, data costs among the lowest globally, and in terms of quality, there is no difference between Delhi and the remotest Indian village. Second, Aadhaar, 1.4 billion digital IDs. Third, UPI processes over 12 billion transactions monthly. Fourth, India ranks among the top 3 startup ecosystems with 100,000 startups and 100 plus unicorns. Fifth, India's secure and inclusive digital public infrastructure stack is now being adopted by countries around the globe. Friends, in all humility, I wish to state that Geo, with over 500 million loyal subscribers, was privileged to play a leading role in this transformation across broadband, 4G, 5G, and home connectivity.
Welcome back. You tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now. We'll be getting all your stock-specific questions answered. And the next question, let's resume with all the queries. And the next question is coming from Balan. He's a senior citizen. He says that he would like to buy any of these three: Hindustan Copper, GMDC, ITC, and Nestle, or Bank of Baroda. So basically, Hindustan Copper, GMDC from the FMCG pack, ITC, and Nestle, or Bank of Baroda. Let me come to you for this, Sonam. Which would be your pick with, out of these four counters? He wants any three. What would be your recommendation?
Right. So I think very interesting stock picks, and he's sort of trying to buy them at a value price, right? Because in some of these stocks, like ITC, as we were discussing, NMDC, you've seen some short-term corrections. I think positionally, if I was to think of it, I think Bank of Baroda right now would be a much more stable sort of allocation in this pack. So I would recommend that he goes with Bank of Baroda. I think NMDC also is looking quite interesting, right? You've seen some short-term corrections, but the metal and mining pack is supposed to be strong. So I would recommend NMDC also. And I think that the other stocks were ITC and what else?
ITC and Nestle.
ITC and Nestle. So I think, see, ITC you are getting at a value price, right? I think there might be some more movement in the stocks as the GST regulations, take shape. but ITC is a very solid quality stock that you're getting at deep discounts at these levels. I recover these the 20% correction that we have seen in this stock in the last 6 months to be over in the coming few quarters. So I think ITC itself could be a good value buy. And I think Kunal did talk about, how you can position yourself in this stock.
All right, let's move on. Let's take Mr. Lakshmanan's question. He's a senior citizen. Kunal, I'll come to you. So he's invested in Policy Bazaar at 1800 per share, and he also has invested in Maruti, although I don't have the buy price, but he's in losses in both of them. So what would be a short-term scenario according to you?
See, not to average both of these stocks, at least as of now, just wait for maybe a retest of the previous lows for these names. Maruti, for example, the previous low was around the 14,000 mark. So just wait out for a point when the stock comes closer to the retest, because it looks like that the first wave of selling is over. A bounce back, wave or a rally is in progress for these names. But the volumes and the indicators have still not come back into a zone where there is divergence of sorts. So which means that potentially there could be one more wave where you might probably expect that these stocks may retest their previous lows in the near term. So I would suggest just wait out for both of these stocks to complete that wave. Maybe I think in the next 2 or 3 weeks, you might see these stocks retesting the previous lows or coming closer to that kind of a price point. That could be a better territory where you can look to average further.
All right, that was the last question for the day, Kunal and Sonam. Thank you so much for taking the time out, joining us and answering all our stock-specific queries. But viewers, with that, it's a wrap on this edition of Buy Now, Sell Now. Kavita and I will take a leave and see you tomorrow. So thank you so much for tuning in.